Hello, Loveland. I'm Mike Meldon, and this is your Loveland Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Gina Dubell-Smith, eXp Realty, and Stone Pillar Farm. Today, we wrap up our conversations with this year's City Council candidates with current council member and friend, Andy Bateman. Andy is running for a second term alongside Mayor Cathy Bailey and newcomer Brian Goodyear. This unique trio says that they are committed to preserving the unity that characterizes the City Council's current composition, fostering a sense of cohesion and continuity that has served Loveland well. Over the years, I've had the privilege of getting to know Andy personally, and I've witnessed his insightful contributions to our community during his tenure on City Council. His passion for Loveland and his innovative ideas for its future are truly commendable. So without further ado, let's get into our conversation with Andy Bateman as we explore his journey in local governance and the exciting prospects for Loveland's future. Enjoy. Today is Monday, October 16th, 2023.
So my name is Andy Bateman. I am currently on Loveland City Council and have been since 2019. I ran in 2017 and finished as the runner-up. And so I had some experience. This is my third campaign for City Council right now, running for re-election. And it's been a whirlwind in a lot of ways to try to think back on the last 4 years or, the last 6 years in terms of how my time in volunteering and serving Loveland. And, I think back to, when I first got sworn in 2019, how I had just a feeling of a blank slate in front of me. I had just become a father. My daughter is going to be 4 in October. And so I was just sort of feeling a ton of emotions at that time. And then by the time I sort of, got my sleep schedule back and it was the new year, all of a sudden our whole system of society was under this COVID threat. And so I just had this sense of what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I had all of these, I think we all were just sort of stunned and lost a little bit. And so I approached it with the same kind of mindset that I approach anything, which is let's just, hang in there, wait and see what happens and learn as you go. And so that first challenge is as the government and our city was trying to figure out how best we could keep services open, how we had to adjust, what kinds of things we had to alter and delay and postpone and apply for. It was a whole new ecosystem that we were operating in. So,
and you guys all your meetings were
virtual.
Yeah, virtual meetings. I mean, that was a change within itself, too.
It was. There was the whole first year was just kind of organized chaos.
Yeah.
And we kept the business open. We didn't have any layoffs. Everyone worked. We kept everybody safe. We adhered to all of the guidelines. And I took solace in knowing that I wasn't the only one going through this for the first time. We were all in the same boat.
Right.
And I think that by the spring, I saw Loveland had this sort of a oasis feeling, as a result of being this outdoor this area where people could take a break from being locked indoors, from taking a break from the Zoom meetings. And so much of what we have done in the last 4 years really started from that, the pandemic, and just opened up all of these new ways of thinking of how we were going to evaluate what it means to be a Loveland resident or what it means to be in Loveland.
That's so interesting. Like, that's a new perspective that I never really thought of. Yeah, because during the pandemic, we were all, I was down at East Loveland Nature Preserve, and I know you were walking around, and we were all at the parks. So you guys had a whole new way of thinking of, hey, everybody wants to be outside now.
Oh,
how are we going to make Loveland support that?
And we had to do, and some of the stuff is a lot of it is permanent. The changes that were meant to be COVID-related, alleviating an issue. We had all of the dine-in. We couldn't do indoor dining because of the state emergency declarations. So we expanded all of the mobile dine-in parking along the bike trail, and people and the restaurants and the businesses down there became more adept at delivering, food on the go. Beverages on the go. The Dora was eventually expanded to be 24 hours during that time period instead of just a section of like 18 holidays across the year. It was a 365 type of a program with a time limit. The outdoor seating areas that we started to enhance along the LSFD corridor. Our partners at LSFD created the Valentine Sweetheart Alley, Sweetheart Lane, and that has become this great area for outdoor connection and community. So has the big Adirondack chairs area and the outdoor seating around in the city-owned parcels like in front of City Hall or the new area around Nisbet Park. All of that became something that was born out of the desire to enhance the outdoor amenities and to keep people socially distanced and to spread people around.
And enjoy the outdoors, because people started to really connect with the outdoors more than they had before. I think this is just an interesting connection that I never put together. I just thought, Loveland has boomed. It was inevitable to have these things, but it really wasn't. If we didn't have COVID, we might not have all these areas, outdoor seating and this and that. We might still one thing I want to say is when my wife and I and the kids go downtown, sure, if it's cold out or whatever, we're going to go in Paxton's or Ramsey's. But you don't need to do the official go in and get a seat at a restaurant anymore. We don't do that. We'll go down on a Friday night and we'll find a table. We'll get Dora, and then we will order from somewhere locally. One of us will get Ramsey's, another one might get the fish taco truck. And it's interesting for you to point out that was really, it was organic, but it was worked through you guys working with what COVID had, what we had to offer, and then expanding it and keeping it here. And I think that's really cool because I just looked at it as part of the booming in a booming city. But no, that was directed.
It was, and you can trace it to the funding as well. All of the COVID relief dollars from the federal government was geared towards keeping people socially distanced, and some of the language and requirements for grants in terms of how we were able to fund things in Nisbet Park. The perspective has changed to where we wanted to create more space for people. And, when you think about the experience along the bike trail, for example, it used to be such a linear travel. People would just walk up to the bridge, turn around, walk down.
Definitely.
And now we've started to open that up, and we've got all these alternate seating areas, and we've got plans to do more with the streetscape plan and things downtown to even enhance that, to create a greater logic and sense of community, multimodal, that. To your point, we do the same thing. We find a table and get to go and sit there and just enjoy being outdoors. Even the Loveland free Wi-Fi, was something that came in as a result of, this is going to make sense. People are working from home now. They can take their laptops, sit at an outdoor permanent park structure and log in and work from Nisbet Park.
Wow.
And so I think that's always going to be the sort of spark or like the frame in which I'm going to envision my jumping off point onto council. But then, the following 2 years leading into today, I spent on different committees in the Historic Preservation and Planning Commission, and now on Planning and Zoning since 2021, 2022. And so that has been a great sort of learning curve as well, is to take what I learned in city council service as well as the Historic Preservation and Planning Commission, and now apply that as the council liaison on planning and zoning. And so I think that the last 2 years has been really about applying the knowledge that I learned over those first 2 years into actual cases and looking at things that are going to have a significant and immediate impact on what Loveland is doing or the future of land use, for example, or regulations. And I think that's not something I would have expected at the beginning, that would be something that I really enjoyed digging into. But I have really taken a strong sense of pride in sort of sitting in that seat and looking at what people's visions are for Loveland, and then finding how we can make sure that their visions and the community's vision and the standards are what's being adhered to in any given circumstance.
Andy, how do you envision the near future of Loveland, whether you're on the council or not? How do you see Loveland in the next 4 years or so?
Well, I do hope that I get to serve another 4 years, because I really feel like I'm just getting started. And so much of what we've done in the past 4 years has been about laying the groundwork for big projects that are going to come in the next 4 to 5 to maybe even 10 years. So the near future, though, I see a lot of construction, unfortunately. There's going to be some infrastructure improvements, and there's going to be some rough road ahead, I think, for the commuter, the traveler to Loveland, and that's just a reality. I know we've got in East Loveland a bridge to be replaced. Loveland Avenue Bridge has got some work to be done to it. Nisbet Park is going to have some work. Harrison Avenue project in Nisbet Park. There's a project along Harrison. And there's going to be a parking lot that's going to be connecting 48 with the downtown area. So these projects are sequenced out. They're not going to all happen at the same time. And thank goodness we have capable and innovative city staff that are on top of that and recognizing the right order that things should go in, and planning for that, working with our finance department, of course, to make sure that the dollars are all reconciled and properly allocated from a planning perspective. But I do think that what will happen as a result of these projects is that you're going to see the complete transformation of downtown Loveland to like its finished phase.
Right.
Because if we think about the last 10 years of downtown Loveland, 2013, I want to say, is around the time that Loveland Station was completed. So that was the anchor of the big bet that council made.
Sure.
To try to bring a residential population to downtown. The complete transformation of downtown Loveland, starting from 10 years ago with Loveland Station to all that has happened, we're really going to be implementing that smarter infrastructure with the turn lane that's going in on Loveland Avenue, to the turn lane that will go into the parking lot, to Harrison Avenue becoming better defined and a streetscape, Carl Brown Way being able to be the preferred means in and out of the downtown leisure area, if you want to call it that,
yeah.
And so I think that all of that stuff is going to be a little bit of a headache for the short term, but it's going to just open up downtown to be more modern, more amenable to the types of visitors and consumers that area has, so that the family with the stroller, the bike club, the grandparents with the kid for a lunch, that all of them will be able to find a parking spot, know exactly where to go, get some food, walk
safely
through the parking area, and get back home in a quick and easy and fun and memorable way.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is exciting.
It's very exciting because, we grew so fast. Nobody could have done, could have envisioned how quickly Loveland boomed. It's a boom. And now you guys are saying, okay, these are the changes we need to make it safer, make it more comfortable, like you said, makes it easier to get in and out, and to walk around. And I think that's awesome. You guys are meeting all those needs and have plans for each and every one of them. I think it's really cool with the one thing that I know when we drive through town, Mayor Bailey was talking about is just the bike trail there, and that all cars stop, whether somebody's coming or not, but you guys have a plan for that too. And that'll be regulated so that cars just don't have to keep stopping, and actually we'll make sure that the people on the trail stop. But you guys have thought of every which way and a lot of needs. I also think you guys have done a great job with communication, because people get angry when these things just show up in their face, right? And you guys have handled that really well. And again, the podcast hopefully get this out there too. But people like to know what's coming down the pike.
That you're exactly right about the enhanced communication that we have done over the last 4 years. I can't thank our staff and our marketing and communications coordinator, Krista Rose, for doing for essentially turning a complete 180. It's not as if it was not effective. It wasn't being there was no sense of continuous improvement. There wasn't a sense of ownership into that function.
Right.
And so because of that change, it's now been so much sharper and focused and more disseminated. I agree with you. I think that that the signage that we've created, the one thing that it reminds me of, though, is that there was a community function that laid a lot of the groundwork for that prior to that. There was all of the branding work and the website that was all led by, I think the committee is defunct now that Krista has her job, but there was a PR and communications committee that put together a plan, and it was all citizen volunteer led. And eventually the recommendation was hire someone. We can't do this. We don't have the authority. You need to grant someone the authority to do this. And once we did that, it has just, like you said about the boom downtown, the amount of things that we're able to do now that we have somebody who's striving to improve it each and every time out, it's really top notch. And I think also what I like about it is that we're putting the information out there that's appropriate. We're saying the things that a city should be saying to its citizens, and we're not relying on, again, citizens or volunteer
neighbor telling
groups.
Neighbor.
Yeah, neighbors, right, that are unofficial,
right.
Whatever. That you have to have a single source of truth, and I think that's one of the things that Krista has brought. And I'm glad you brought that up, because she gets a lot of credit, but that's one of those customer service touch points from the city to the resident that I think is so vital and has been a big change we've had over the last 4 years.
Yep. The council the way it is, and people are happy with, and that's one of the reasons too. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, but people now know about the job you guys are doing, and that's a big deal.
Well, as long as when I walk around to talk to people in this campaign, I can't help but sort of chuckle when I'm saying, how are things going? Do you have any complaints? And let us know how we're doing. The complaints can go to the city manager.
Right.
But really, people don't have much. Get that traffic stuff figured out.
Right.
Hey, what about another bridge? I've always thought about we need a new bridge. So it's stuff like that. That's those are issues. We understand that. It also is the perspective. Loveland is so geographically, dependent on perspective. So me living in Claremont County, I have a different perspective about the downtown traffic. The Warren County Loveland resident probably feels similar. Like, hey, I have a struggle to get through on my daily commute. The folks that live on Hamilton County, might say it's just a mess to try to get down there.
Is it worth even going down there for dinner?
I don't want to go down there,
right.
And it's just not even worth it. I can't find a spot, and so we need to think about how those challenges from different perspectives can be addressed in a way that brings, a good solution that everyone can live with, that doesn't swing too far the pendulum over to one side of overcorrecting. Like,
Sure.
everyone talks about another bridge. Can't you just create a bridge that goes alongside the trestle and we just have a little mini Loveland bypass? I mean, outside the billions of dollars that would cost and the, permission of, getting the railroad to go along with something. It would be a Loveland bypass, and you would not have...
We don't want that.
You wouldn't have people driving through cute, quaint, charming downtown Loveland. The Hamilton County residents are probably having a hard time going, they don't want to go down to downtown Loveland because it's, they don't want to face the traffic. They don't want to try to find a parking spot. So one of the things that we're doing is trying to put together a plan for Loveland Madeira. And that down the road could open up a second area for folks to convene. And it's close in proximity. I ride my bike over to the library all the time, so I know it's not really two separate, disconnected parts of town, but there's just so much of a spotlight on downtown Loveland because there's so many amenities there. There's so much fun to be had, but there's an opportunity to create environments like that along the Loveland Madeira Road.
You guys got, what was it, last year you passed, was it an ordinance, or you okayed the liquor laws so that there's more liquor licenses now in
these community entertainment districts, right? We created two. There's actually one at the far end of Loveland over by East Kemper and Loveland Madeira.
Okay.
So basically a restaurant or a business that would want to go in there would have an easier time getting a liquor license. And so you could have like a salon that would be able to serve wine, or you could have a cafe that could have a liquor license. And it's really geared towards economic development in those areas where we want to see something emerge. It's a tool that we have for these areas that could use a little bit more of commercial investment.
So now, Andy, why don't you speak to the people? Tell them why they should elect you.
I think because this is something that really motivates me, and I think that might make me different than most people because a lot of people want the government to stay out of their lives, but I'm standing up and saying I want to be more involved as part of the government. And really that's just because I have a passion for my hometown. I like this dichotomy of sort of the strategic overview of things, but also looking at the tactical. So I kind of like the duality of that. That fits my curiosity nature. I think I enjoy the ability to learn about new things and then try to process them and synthesize and communicate those things back. So whether that's with the residents as I'm representing them, I mean, I think that's what I've always taken to heart, is that it's not just me, it's not just my opinion that I'm representing on council. It's not what I think. It's what the residents think and what I think the residents think and, what I think will be best for all the residents. And that's the sort of mindset that I approach things with. I try not to get too emotional. I try not to get too myopic on something. I try to keep my horizons broad when looking at a topic and thinking about alternate perspectives. And I'm going to continue to bring that approach and that mindset for another 4 years. And again, I feel like I'm just getting started. So I would love to finish the job, and get these projects in motion and doing what they need to do. As I said, I feel like I'm just getting started, and because I've got some great teammates in Cathy Bailey and Brian Goodyear, I feel like we've got a team that's equipped to take Loveland in the next direction for the future in the next 4 years. I love the fact that Brian's from Warren, I'm from Claremont, Cathy's from Hamilton. Not only are we three unique individuals, but we bring that geographic perspective and that different Loveland viewpoint to the council seat. And so, but just great people too. I think the experience level that both Mayor Bailey bring and Mr. Goodyear is really something valuable. There's a sense of duty and service within both of them. And I think in myself, that's what I think this is a call to service, really. And, a sense of curiosity and innovation and collaboration. And I think that's the stuff that makes good government, is when you've got people that are willing to think on their own and express their own viewpoints, but can help build consensus and collaboration and compromise. And I think that's what we've been doing in the last 4 years, and what I think the three of us will continue to do.
In Loveland City news, name the new parking lot. Brainstorm a name for downtown's new parking lot coming in 2024. The city of Loveland is building a new 147-space parking lot in historic downtown, and the city is hosting a campaign to brainstorm a name for the new lot. Submit your best idea by November 28th. There's an online form on www.loveandlifeloveland.com. Entries are accepted October 9th to November 28th. There's one entry per person. You must be ages 12 or older, and it's open only to the City of Loveland residents. Looking ahead in Loveland, join the Loveland Stage Company for a day of spooky walking tours on Saturday, October 21st. There are several tour options available: family-friendly from 4 to 6 p.m. and haunted from 8 to 10 p.m. Walking tours will take guests around historic downtown Loveland to learn haunted stories and interesting historical facts. Dressing up for this Halloween event is encouraged. Tours will begin and end at the Loveland Stage Company foyer. All tours will get behind-the-scenes tour of the theater and hear of its haunted history. Tip your guide if they do a spooktacular job. All tours are $20 a ticket, max of 10 participants per group. We have something truly special here in Loveland. Thank you for listening, and have a great week. This episode was produced and engineered by On Brand Studios and recorded at Grailville, a magical place here locally like no other. Please note that the opinions expressed in the podcasts do not necessarily represent the views of our sponsors or organization.